ask himself how it's gonna happen. But if you're gonna ask why, okay, why there's no only one way here, like the Rebbe Rashab says over here. There's a level of chokhmah, and midyan is considered the menagid that goes against the level of chokhmah. These are the midyan is the klipa that fights against sviras chokhmah. What's the idea of chokhmah? Chokhmah is the level of bittul. What is chokhmah? Chokhmah is putting together two words, koyachma, the koyach of what? Which means it's this idea of nothingness. Ma, what are you? Idea of bittul. Midyan, we're saying until now, that's all I think. The idea of yeshus, that I exist. So it's understood that the idea of yeshus is just the opposite of bittul. That's the idea of chokhmah. When someone has chokhmah, that causes the idea of bittul, the idea of that a person feels how he's like, feels like he's nothing. It's not about kind. That is the idea of chokhmah. It brings bittul in all the other midas. Okay, we're learning for the past couple of weeks. Biyurim of the Rebbe, why the Rambam writes, why does the Rambam emphasize that the Nevuah of Mashiach says in Parshas Bilam? What is it Naikeya to say that Mashiach's Nevuah is in Parshas Bilam? The first proof that the Rambam brings, the Rambam doesn't say that it says it in Parshas Nitzavim. And the third proof of Ari Mikla, the Rambam doesn't say that it says in Parshas Shoftim. Why? The second proof, the Rambam emphasizes that it says in Parshas Bilam and Parshas Balak. What is it Naikeya to emphasize which Parsha it says? Yeah? Why by the first proof and the third proof it doesn't say? Why by the middle proof it tells you which parsha it says? So we explained until now, the Rebbe explains that what's going to happen in the Geula. In the Geula, the Klippa itself will be transformed to help out Kedusha. The Goyim themselves, instead of fighting the Yidden, are going to support the Yidden. That's one explanation. And this idea that the Goyim themselves are going to support Yidden in the Geula, we see it in also the Nevuah about the Geula. The who says the Nevuah about the Geula? A Goy that comes from Moav says what? That Mashiach is going to get rid of Moav. Like it says that if you want to cut off a forest, so you the axe to cut off the forest. Where do you get the handle? What's the handle of the axe made out of? Wood from the forest. You take the forest itself to break down the forest. You take a goy or novi from the goy themselves, Bilam themselves, and he's saying in a war about Mashiach. That's going to be when Mashiach's going to come. When Mashiach comes, not only Mashiach is going to Shmuel. When Mashiach comes, Amar. And the goal of Mashiach is not only going to fight over the goyim, but transform the goyim, that the goyim themselves are going to accept upon themselves to serve Mashiach, to serve the Eibishter. That's one explanation that Rebbe says. Another explanation that Rebbe explains is that Bilam hated the Yidden without seichel. It was such a b'shuga to hate. There's no seichel involved. He hated with no seichel. What did the Eibishter do? The Eibishter took the curse of Bilam and flipped it over. You're taking the curse itself and turning it over into a bracha. Like it says, whatever he said a bracha, that was the opposite of the curse. So let's say you wanted to say the Yidden shouldn't have kids. So the bracha that was turned over is that the Yidden should have kids. He wanted to curse the Yidden. The idea of the curse of Bilam is a level that doesn't have to do with seichel. The Eibishter flips over the curse into a bracha. So what gets revealed? A level of a bracha of the Eibishter that's higher than seichel. A level that's higher than seichel. He wanted to curse the Yidden from a level without seichel, a hate with no reason. So to the bracha that turns over is a love without a reason, a love that's higher than seichel. which that is the idea of Mashiach. What's going to be in this Galan when Mashiach comes? A level of love of the Eibishter to Yidden, and a love of Yidden to the Eibishter that's higher than Seichel. When Mashiach's going to come, what's the whole world going to be? It's going to be on this level of higher than Seichel. So Bilam wanted to curse the Yidden without Seichel. So the bracha is a level also without Seichel, which that is the bracha of Mashiach. That is the level of Mashiach. That's why this right. Now, exactly like it says on Mashiach. Like it says, Mashiach is going to come. B'hesach hadas. What does it mean? Mashiach is going to come. B'hesach hadas. So the way people learn the Gemara is, don't think about Mashiach, because you kind of have your brain. You can't think about Mashiach. If you think about it, he's not going to come. That's what Hesach Hadas people want to say. But the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya, what does Hesach Hadas mean? That Mashiach is the level of Hesach Hadas. Mashiach is the level of serving the Eibishter without your seichel, more than your seichel. A person loves the Eibishter so much with his whole, not a limited love according to seichel. To love the Eibishter totally, to be Meister Nevesh for the Eibishter. Hacher von Seichel, to love the Eibishter with such a strong level, that is what's going to be when Mashiach comes. It says we're going to love the Eibishter with our whole heart and soul. Totally, that's going to be when Mashiach's going to come. And the Geula, the Eibishter is going to make a bris over our heart, and we're going to love the Eibishter with our whole entire Bilam and HaSeichel. That is what's going to be in the Geula. That's when it says Mashiach comes. That's when Mashiach is going to come. Mashiach is the level of Hesach Hadas.
The only way to really grasp and love is through seichel.
Here we're saying something else. That what is Alter Rebbe says.
Now we're living in a time where it's
the other way around. We're loving Al Pi Seichel now. According to what you could understand, that's the love of the Eibishter. And the Geula, it's going to be L'maylam and HaSeichel.
Geula when in the process or the Geula?
When Mashiach comes. Mashiach comes. So the Alter Rebbe says over there that also when we daven, when a year davens, that's a Geula protest. A person, when he's davening, he's like in your Ma'aseh Mashiach. Why is he like in your Ma'aseh Mashiach when he's davening? Because that's a time when a person reveals this level of love to the Eibishter. Only a few times a day a person can live a Mashiach-tika life. A Mashiach can live. The Rebbe wants us to live the whole day and the whole night like this. To bring your Ma'aseh Mashiach and the Kol Yimei Chayacha. Also by night, by day, the whole life should be in such a level of your Ma'aseh Mashiach. But the Alter Rebbe says over there is, by davening, a person is on this level of your Ma'aseh Mashiach that he loves the Eibishter L'maylam and HaSeichel. But why you emphasize Parshas Bilam that the Nevuah of Mashiach says in Parshas Bilam? Because Bilam wanted to curse the Yidden without Seichel. So the Eibishter flipped over the curse of Bracha. That's also a level that's higher than Seichel. What is that level? That's the Bracha of Yemais Mashiach. That's why the Rambam says Parshas Bilam. This week's Parsha. Why does the Rambam say that it says in Parshas Bilam? The Rambam is coming to tell you that because it's Bilam, because Bilam wanted to curse the Yidden and the Eibishter flipped over the curse to Abraha, that's why you spoke about Mashiach. So why did Bilam talk about the Mashiach? Because that's what the Eibishter turned over his curse into Abraha. The curse of without Seichel was flipped over to Abraha, of which is what's the level of L'maylam and HaSeichel? That is the level of Mashiach. He wanted a curse without Seichel, so the Bracha is L'maylam and HaSeichel. Now the Rebbe is going to say another beer. Dalit, page Lamed Hey. Everyone can open up inside. Page Lamed Hey. Dalit of the next explanation of the Rebbe just on this diuk. Why did Rambam emphasize his Parshas Bilam? And it's this week's Parshas. You have a saver over there. You can open it up. Page Lamed Hey. Dalit. Echdei levair adiuk v'Parshas Bilam yesh lahakne bir in Yonishal Balak Beimek. In order to understand why the Rambam emphasizes, it says in Parshas Bilam, we need to understand something with this week's, the name of this week's Parsha, Parshas Balak. Shlachayda einei muvan aytochen sheish Parsha b'teira hanikratz b'shem Balak. Hey b'chein the shem Rishayim Yirkov. How could it be you have a Parsha in Torah that has the name of a Rasha? It says that the name of Rishayim, the Eibishter is going to erase. It's going to be disintegrated, the name of a Rasha. So how could you have a name of a Parsha in Torah with the name of a Rasha? This the last week's Parsha we have a Parsha called Perach explains that. Why isn't that a problem? First of all, Koirach was a Yid. not Balak, which is a guy Ubahem ben Yitzhar v'chul, and that itself, he was from Shevet Levi. He wasn't the regular Yid. And even more than that, Ubra Mezake Yabba. It says that a kid could be Mezake his father. If the father made an Aveda, the son does tshuva, he could make his father, he could erase the Avedas of his father through that the son does tshuva. The father does tshuva, that doesn't help to erase the Aveda of the son. But if the son does tshuva, he can erase the Aveda of his father. B'nai Kairach v'chulu, the kids of Kairach did tshuva. So Kairach, he was a Yid, he was a son of the Yitzhak, his kids did tshuva, he could erase the Aveda from Kairach. And Yeshleim Arashas for tshuva v'chulu, there's also an opinion that says that even Kairach himself did tshuva. This explains how Koirech was on the level of Yemesa Mashiach, was on a very high level. He wanted everyone should be Nevi'im, just like it's going to be in the Gula. So Koirech, okay, we can understand. That's not a question. But it's not so regarding Balak, which was a guy, and he hated the Yidden more than all the Jew haters. So how are you naming a parsha in Torah on the name of Balak? Ishleim Rabbi Rebbe Zalpi Amuf B'Durashat Tzemach Tzedek When DVAR Shal Balak or Bilam Shneim Hayu Chachamim G'Dolim Balak Hayu Yetzer Chacham. The Tzemach Tzedek explains what the Shalah says in this week's parsha. Balak and Bilam were very smart, and Balak was even smarter than Bilam. V'yoda Shalsheles HaGodel Yachas Malchus Yisrael. Balak knew the whole chain, the whole history of Klal Yisrael that's coming up, and he knew the kings of Klal Yisrael, Shahu Malchus Beis David Mashiach. He knew that David HaMelech is going to come, Mashiach is going to come from the Yoda Kizeh Otsum Yavim Imanu Chulu. He knew that who is Malach HaMashiach, who's David HaMelech HaMashiach going to be born from. They're going to be born from his descendants. Sharei David HaMelech v'chein Mashiach. Shumi Beis David, Yatsu Mirus Amivia, Hani Kras, Imashal Malchus, She Yatsu Sami Balak Malach Moyach, Rus Amayavia, which was David HaMelech's Bobby, and Malach HaMashiach's Bobby, came from where? From Balak. So Balak knew who's going to come out of him. He was a Rasha, but he knew who's going to come out of him at the end of the day. We turn over, what does Balak show on? The idea of transforming darkness into light. You're taking Balak, a hater, and from him you're turning him over. That he knows who's his yichus, who's going to come out of him. Who's his, not his yichus, but who's going to come out of him, which is Malach HaMashiach. And let's see the ha'ar over here. A Kavaldik, and Rebbe uses a lashon, Oirani flaw. Sich and this expansion, Taka Oirani flaw. Let's see. From here we learn how to Kavaldik Oirani. A wunderlich Eirov Avedas Hashem. Kasher Yehudi Oisech Hash Ben Tzadik Mamad Umatzovei. Asher Machad Giso Arei Ubnei Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Meshakosov Ban Matem Lashem Alei Keicha. When a Yid makes a cheshbon, a Yid thinks, okay, about himself, the way he's acting, what did he do? So on one hand, he sees he's the son of the Eibishter, the son of the king of all kings, we're children of the Eibishter. V'lo yoyid ela shechavivusi eitzel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He al derech u'vedugmas ha'chavivus de ben Yochid. And a Yid knows that a Yid is like the only son of the Eibishter that was born to the Eibishter, like the only son of parents that had kids, had one son when they were very old, that they love him even more. You can have parents that have kids when the parents are young. They didn't work so hard to have this son. But if someone has only one son when they're very old, they love him even more. So that's how much the Eibishter loves us. This is what the Baal Shem Tov explains, and the Baal Simcha V'Agula from Yud Beis Tammuz, which is this Shabbos, advertised and was mafaris in this Torah of the Baal Shem Tov. Leidach Yisar Yoda Inish Ben Avshei Shenichshel Beinin Bilti Ratzi Chulu Abachaloifen Hanagasi Ein V'Hasim L'Greitel Ma'alosei B'Tein B'Yichidi Shal Malach 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 Ma'Kadosh Baruch Hu. As they all love the Matzav Shal Nefil L'Seruach Chulu. Right, on the other hand, the Yid knows himself. He knows that he did this thing wrong by mistake, that he did something wrong. And nevertheless, the way he's acting doesn't fit the son, the only son of the king of all kings of the Abishter, to act in such a way. So a guy can feel very, Arab can feel very depressed or very not happy, and and he's not going to be the simcha, he's not going to be able to serve the Abishter right. Says that Rebbe, in Israel, boy, only by the Pashas Balak. Shafilu Balak, Yoda shall shall say God will chul malchus based over the Mashiach. This is the Irah from this week's parsha. Balak. Balak was a Russia, but nevertheless he knew the history. He knew where he came from, and he knows what's going to come out of him. If this is said so regarding Balak, that he knew that he's not here by himself. He knew what's going to come out of him. And had he kavachomer ben benoishal kavachomer, ben agala kalachad v'achad misrol shuba'atzmei chelek mishal shalas gdeilazu. Akshuri malchus beis David and Mashiach. If Balak knew where he came, who's going to come out of him, he knew he has a shaykhis to Mashiach. And therefore the Torah mentions his name for sure. How much more so a kavachomer, a double kavachomer, that every single yid, that he himself is a part of Mashiach. Every yid needs to know who is he a part of. That ever brings over here, the HAKHEL the Baal Shem Tov says that every single yid has a piece of Melech HaMashiach inside of it. And like it says in this week's parasha, it says in this week's parasha that a star will come out of Yaakov. That's what the Balak says. Who's the star going on? A star is going to come out of Yaakov. So in Yerushalmi it says it's going on every single yid. And the same time, in Yerushalmi, in Maseches Tainis, and the Rambam brings it, and who's this part going on Melech HaMashiach? So how could you take the same pasuk and say it's going on Melech HaMashiach, and at the same time say it's going on every single yid? Is it going on Mashiach, or is it going on every yid? So the Baal Shem Tov explains, the Ma'ir 9 says that every single yid has a piece of Melech HaMashiach in him. Therefore, a pasuk that's talking about Melech HaMashiach could also be talking about you. And about you and every single one of us, because every single one of us has a piece of Melech HaMashiach inside of ourselves. But not all of it, like the Rebbe said many times. Why, when you open up the Aron, and you say, the Skayim Banu, Shakasu, it should be fulfilled in me, the pasuk that it says that it's going to rest upon in the Ruach of Mashiach. The Ruach of it says it's going to rest on him, which is Malach HaMashiach. It's going to rest on him, the Ruach of the Eibishter, the Ruach of Chachma, Bina. Psukim that are talking about Malach HaMashiach, every yid says that it should be fulfilled in me. Isn't that like a Bal Kaifer? A guy saying, the Rambam says the Mashiach is this and this and this. Yeshaya Navi says, "Oh, Nevuah and Malach HaMashiach," and every yid says it should be fulfilled in me. What in the world? Imagine a guy says I should be like Avraham Avinu, and Malach HaMashiach is greater than Avraham Avinu. How could a yid say that whatever it says about Mashiach should be fulfilled in me? But then every yid has a piece of Malach HaMashiach in the Sham inside of it. Therefore, I have a piece of Mashiach in me. And therefore, I could say that it should be fulfilled in me, whatever it says about my Melech HaMashiach. This is actually my Madam Muska. This is something that the Rebbe brought many, many times. Like over here, but regarding the Rambam, and the Rebbe says, whatever it says Melech HaMashiach is going to do, every yid needs to do it. Why? Because you have a piece of Mashiach in you. The Rambam says Mashiach is going to affect all the Yidden. Every yid needs to affect all the Yidden to do Torah and mitzvahs. Because a yid has a piece of Mashiach in him. The Rambam says Mashiach is going to fix over the Goyim. Every year needs to affect their Goyim to be Mekayim Sheva Mitzvahs B'nei Noach. Because every year has a piece of Mashiach in him. So here the Rebbe is saying, Balak knew his connection to Mashiach. And therefore the Torah says, the Torah brings him, the Torah quotes him, the Torah gives a whole parsha with his name. Because he has up as a shaykhis to Mashiach. How much more so every single yid. A yid shouldn't be in a smile that he did something not wrong and not feel happy. Because you need to know in the end of the day, you have a piece of Malach HaMashiach in you, and this is what you need to focus on, and this is who you really are. You are a piece of Malach HaMashiach. And the Rebbe continues, "Ve'inin za moisif idut v'nesinas koyach b'chlolos aveido v'afotzas ateiru yadus." This adds, this encourages and gives koyach the general avoid of spreading out Torah and Yiddishkeit. Shegam kasher pikshim Yehudi asher b'shem Yisrael yichuna. Even when you meet a Jew, he's only called a Jew. I Jewish, yeah, my mother is Jewish, my elder brother is Jewish, but he's not acting like a Jew in any way. But eventually, this is only his nickname. Nevertheless, and the Rebbe says, in the revealed way, what do you see? What does it seem from the outside? That this guy's in a very, very low state. At the matzav, the begin as a bollock. Till this guy looks almost like bollock. That he's totally separated from Yiddishkeit. Says the Rebbe, all of this is only an outer, external thing. This is not who he really is. The purpose of this is to turn it over, just like the Balak. The whole purpose was to flip over the Kushan Bracha, to reveal who's going to come out of it, which is Malach HaMashiach. So too by every Yid, you need to see that every Yid has a piece of every Yid. Who's every Yid? Every Yid is Malach HaMashiach, a piece of Malach HaMashiach. You should reveal the good that's in him, until that this good that's in him should be engraved and be part of him. Every Yid has to come back to who he really is from his source, from where he needs to reveal it. The source where you come from, what is it when you chisel something out of a rock? We are all chiseled out. Our source is the level of chukah. No one will ever be totally, will be far away and forever. Everyone's going to come back. We're going to return back to the Eibishter. The essence of the Eibishter himself, especially in the generation of Malach HaMashiach, which this is our generation. It says the Rebbe, you need to reveal what to be Hashem Mitzius, reveal his real Mitzius. What is he for real? Hapinimis, Va'atzmis, his essence, Chinas Yechidah, the level of the Yechidah, the level of the Neshama that's in every Yid, the level of Yechidah, Nitzitz Mashiach, the spark of Mashiach that's in every single Yid. Chinas HaYechidah HaKlal is a spark of the general Mashiach. So here the Rebbe is saying, how should a Yid look at himself, look at another Yid? Don't be small from the way it looks like from the outside, or if he did something wrong and not feel happy about it. You should know who you are, you for real. Where do you come from? What do you have in you? You have a piece of Malach HaMashiach in you, and focus on that. The last paragraph. Divri Rambam, Af Bepashas Bilam, Shebepashas Balak, Nemar, Veshapiba Beshnei Abishich. V'Mashiach Shu David, v'Mashiach HAKHEL Shem B'Banam Shemashiach Yisrael B'Achrayna. Shamuay Mararan V'Liyatet Zedav Shran V'Likarv Zamalach HaMashiach. Derech Kechav Mi Yaakov Mashiach. According to this, we can understand why does the Torah emphasize Pashas Bilam? Why does the Torah say it says it in Pashas Bilam? Because what's the whole idea of Balak? What did we explain? Balak is the idea that you're taking Balak and you're turning it over into light. You're revealing who comes out of him, which is Malach HaMashiach, comes from the descendants of Balak. So too, regarding Bilam, the whole idea is to turn over the curse of Bilam into a bracha, to take Bilam. That's why the Rambam emphasizes that it says it in Pashas Bilam, to reveal this same exact nekuda, to turn over the darkness into light. One second. One second. Let's turn the page. Tav Samach Zayin till Ma'ariv. Tav Samach Zayin. Tav Samach Zayin. The Rebbe says, this is from Parshas Balak Tavshin Chav Ches. The Rebbe is Madaik another dik. Why does it say Af the Parshas Bilam? Af also in Parshas Bilam it says. Why does the Rebbe say Af? Af Alei Nevu Azu Hi Chelik Ma'Teira. Zekvar Yidu B'Meno B'Meno Shabilam Ayonavi. Medo Misyachsim Lo B'Loshin Af Parshas Bilam. Kedover neisa from Machulik Marais HaChedis. Frate be Mashakasov Bigamaro, Shoisa, Havamin, Likvaya, Pashas Balako Bilam, Kriashma. Shemazam Buchach, Shagova Malbosta, Shal Pashazu. Befrat, Shakosvu Achreini, Shechocha Shater Menasha Mayim, Human of was Bilam. The Hoida of Shalem, Marapi, Mashakasov Virashalmi, Shemesha Kosov Chilas Kamishachum Shetera, but Akaka Hoisi, if it's Pashas Balako Bilam. The Hanya Hodali is Svarash, ain't Sedek Lichtiv, Bechelik. בחלק שירק היסוף לתת דברים שכבר מפורשים בעיקר. לכן מייסב הרמב"ם המילה אף. וההדגש וגם בדבר שירק היסוף אף בינם על ברביעס המשיח. So the first explanation of the Rebbe is that why is the Rambam saying what? Why do you think also in Parshas Bilam? What do you think also? It's one hamshich to the first raya. You bring the one raya, so bring right away. But Parshas Bilam number like this. Why are you saying also in Parshas Bilam? You're making this episode separate also. What are you being machaj by saying also in Parshas Bilam? So the Rebbe is saying that Parshas Bilam was that Moshe Rabbeinu wrote Chamisha Chum Sheitayr, and later on separately he wrote Parshas Bilam. So L'chayra Parshas Bilam is only Yusafa to Chamisha Chum Sheitayr, and it's only an added thing to Chamisha Chum Sheitayr. So here the Rambam is coming to say how important Mashiach is, that even in Yusafa, even something that's an added thing, even there the Torah, it's a side thing. Even in the side thing, you're mentioning Mashiach. That's how important Mashiach is. If in the Chumash itself it says already Mashiach is going to come clearly, so why do you need to add it in a side thing? Parshas Bilam is an added side thing to the Torah. So what do you need to talk about Mashiach? It's something that it says clearly in the Ikar. In the Chumash, it talks about Mashiach. Parshas Bilam is an added thing.
Where's the other part?
That the Rambam brings before. Parshas Bilam is a side added thing. Says that Rambam, even in a side thing, and even in an added thing, even there it's about Mashiach. That just shows how special Mashiach is. Right? So if that's the point, if that would be the Maskana, it should have say also in Parshas Bilam. Why is it saying it up? So here the Rabbi explains how Bichsidis. It says whatever is called in my name and for my honor, I created it, I formed it, and I also made it. So Chassidus explains in this matter that after lifnei asisiv beisifim aloshin af. It says barosiv yitzarativ af asisiv. So it's going on b'rei yitzira and asiyah. Why before asiyah are you adding the word af? Right, you have b'rei yitzira asiyah, three spiritual words. Why are you adding the word af before asiyah? Ki betchila maktim kimul elam is the kedusha. But achar kach kosev af. Shezemar beinin revi. Shomeir al inin aklipis v'chulu. The lashon af made al kash v'roigis. Mashikos of the gimel pasuk ba'af. Chen chachmosi shlamadi di ba'af omdali. So in the beginning, it says kol anikim ra b'shvi v'lechvoidi is going on atzilus. But also Yitzaratif is going on bri yitzira. Before you're saying asiyah, which is the oilam of klipis, you add the word af to make the separation. Af is going on anger. V'chora af Hashem. This is going on the anger, which is going on klipis. First, the Rambam brings a rai from the Shavash Malchus Fuscho. It brings the rai from meaning of Gedusha v'chulu. She calls it Gedusha. Ach Shabbat Haisif rai mi Bilam. She did not klipis. Mark the maloshin af. They must af. Then he brings a rai from the klipis. He says af. Parshas Bilam. Okay, Mashiach now. Yeah, brother.
Your mother gave me a HAKHEL. I left it on the bus.